Hello everyone, Jeb from Jeb's Project. Let's see what we have on the bench today. On the bench today we have the second part of the DX World 600 watt amplifier HF amp hooking up. Taking driller holes for our transistor mounts and start soldering on the power cables, the output coax, and the input coax. And then get her mounted back to the board. So I'll be back when I get the board off and the holes drilled. Okay, let's start soldering some wires in place. And start out with our power wires, our 50-volt wires. First thing we'll do is we'll come in here and tin up the pads. Get them coated good with a good hefty thick wad of solder here. Okay. Then we'll come in with our wire and see if the iron's hot enough to start melting it in place. It doesn't look like it is. Okay, let's put some fresh solder on the wire. Yeah, we're definitely not hot enough. All right, let's turn the temperature up. There we go. Give it a second or two here. It's not as easy as it looks. Wire gets good and hot back here. But it's definitely not hot enough to melt that solder yet. There we go. She's starting to now. Okay, we'll hold that in place. Start dropping some solder down in here. Oh, no. Okay, along that side. On this side. Try to hold her in place long enough for her to cool down. Some solder. And we'll come in on the other side here. Looks like it's pretty good down in there. Nice and thick. Okay, good. That wire's soldered in there pretty good. She's got a nice layer of solder each side of it. Okay, let's do the other side. In here, put a nice thick layer of hefty solder. Now this one's going to be fun. Okay, that side down. Get this warmed up here. There we go. She's good and hot now. place. Oi. There we go. Alright, let's solder inside there. Not too bad. Alright, let's get this side. There we go. Okay. We'll come in on this side. Clean that one up. There we go. Okay. That's good. And let's turn the temperature back down. There we go. Okay, there's our two 50-volt wires. Alright, now we have our input wire. Let's grab that. Okay, let's move this up here a bit. Let's get our solder. Let's solder the end of this. Okay, there we go. And let's solder the braid. Solder on our pad. Alright, there. Now, we'll spin this around a little bit. Oops. Our power wire is giving us a problem here. Okay. We'll solder down our input. And we'll solder down our ground. Just solder this edge down, then go back through, clip it. Okay, there's that. And there's that. Okay. We got a nice clean. All I gotta do is grab my clippers. Here and clip off the excess. There. Get rid of that little piece. Alright, now let's do the same with this end. We'll tin this up. This is where it goes onto the attenuator. Get this pre-tinned so she's ready when solder her down. Just solder it in place. Okay, there, that's ready. Okay, now let's spin this around to where we can get to the input, or I mean the output. Okay, this is the output ground. Let's get a nice heavy. Doing this off the heat sink so that while I'm trying to solder, it's not trying to take the heat away. That way I get a good solid. I don't wind up with a cold solder joint that way. There's that. Good. Now let's solder this. Okay, and let's do the braid. Okay. Not quite ready. I think I'm going to have to increase the temperature a little bit. No, I'm not. Yep. Gonna have to increase the temperature back up again. Okay. We're up in temperature. There, she's starting to melt in there pretty good. Okay, would help if I had this on something a little more steady. Okay, there's that in place. Let's move it down some. There's that. And now, let's get down in here. And on this side, get a nice solid. Nice solid ground. That one doesn't look so pretty, but it is soldered down. She's soldered down pretty good. Let me lower the temperature back down. Okay, our temperature is back down. Well, now that we got LDs in place, okay, we have the 12 volt I can solder while it's on there, the 2 transistors, and if I decide to put a ground on, that may be a part that may have a problem. But we've got 4, we got 5 bolts for ground. Do I like that or not? Good and solid. I don't know if I like that or not. Let's take that back up a little bit or push that down some more. As soon as it gets hot enough. Back down. Okay. Now, it's fairly solid. Okay. Bring our heat sink back up. Would help if I clear the desk off a little bit here. place. Right there, and right there. Okay. Oh, grab our screws. You notice here, I got my holes drilled and tapped. They tap didn't work really well, but it did get tapped. And I've got some threads in there, so let's get all four corners here. Okay, I'll be back when I get her all bolted down. Okay, we have our input wire hooked up. Got our two power wires connected, coming to this lockdown bolt. This is where my 50 volt about. This is my ground amount. And we've got our output wire connected. And now I gotta put the transistors on. Okay, we got our BN here. Right down in there, I already clipped the legs off. So now I gotta throw a little heatsink compound in there. Or, yeah, heatsink grease. So that don't need a big old glob of this stuff. You just need enough to coat the bottom. All you're trying to do is get the little voids between the heatsink and the transistor filled. So you don't need a lot of the stuff. You don't need to gob it on there in big old gobs. So you just enough to get a good solid connection between your heatsink and the transistor. Now what I do with my bolt. Oh, there it is. Alright, let's drop that down in there. Make sure you get your ground there. That's actually a thermistor for your bias control, because as it heats up, it changes the bias to the transistors as it heats up. Let's get this bolted on down. Straighten this up. Bring this around. Right about there. And we'll snug her down. There we go. Okay. It looks like it needs to come back this way just a tiny bit. So we'll loosen her up. Bring her back just a little bit. And then snug her back down. Alright. I'll be back when I get the other transistor in place and then soldered in. Okay. We have the A and B installed, the MRF 300 A and B installed. We've got our input wire. Well, let's get that out of there. That's all we need is that to short something out. Okay, we got our input connected to our 13B dB attenuator. Our input for our radio up to 100 watts. Bring her down to 5 watts here at this point, and this is a maximum of 8. We've got our output. All I gotta do is put my BNC on there for my output and put some voltage to it. Take the two bias controls, turn them all the way down, set the bias, and then see if we have any output. That'll be in the next episode. We'll catch you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. And catch you in the next one.